We got Manning in early.
Okay.
All right, you're in there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Good evening. Is that Liz?
Good evening. She's muted. She's
Oh, okay.
muted.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Hey, Howard, you using your Oh, okay. Not using that to look at you then.
You know why? I like the functionality of being able to jot notes directly on it, but you know, if I'm holding it, jotting notes, then the camera's kind of all over the place. Plus, I got my home office set up, so might as well use it.
All right. And you can use the pen on the iPad, right? On the document?
Yeah, it's pretty intuitive. So I've been going over through my email, and you know, you could download the itinerary as a file and then just make notes on it and save it. It's actually pretty intuitive.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, right?
Yeah. I've never used the pencil before, but I like it.
Okay, good. No, I like it too. And Jack, did they teach you how to use a split screen?
No, I'll wait till you come back so that we can set it up. I couldn't even get on it.
Hello, everybody.
You couldn't get on it?
No.
Oh, sorry about that. The password is on top of the box to get on it.
May I interject?
Yes.
I turned on the live stream on YouTube because otherwise I'm distracted going between the two screens. That's what I was doing just a moment ago. So the live stream's on. We are not recording yet, but the live stream is on.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay? Pat,
yes.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jack, did you see the box that had your code that you had to enter on there?
Yes, I did see the code, and it didn't go right. So the problem is the email.
Just a minute. Okay, I'll help you later. All right.
All right. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take Computer 101. How you doing, Adam?
How are we doing tonight?
Good. I found out that my problem is my laptop.
Yeah.
When I try to get in, it keeps on switching my email address.
Oh, that's odd.
Well, that's what happens when you work for a Chinese company.
Yeah, I'm on a hand-me-down tonight, so it's not the best picture.
Oh, you're on a double screen, Jack. Like twins.
So now you see double of me, huh? Oh boy. It's double the trouble.
For pleasure.
Manny, you're on. I'm shocked.
Yeah, Pat told me, you know what my problem was, Jonathan?
The password, right?
My computer keeps on changing my password.
Okay.
To my Yahoo. So, you know, I had to go back and put a different password and change it so I can get to where it says join. It wouldn't let me go past that first stage.
Did you just tell me you're a Yahoo?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Don't get fresh now.
Got that one too.
You know I love you.
This is he tried to log in with his Club Penguin account.
Wow.
Don't knock Club Penguin. That is an amazing game.
Hey, I'm still on Shoots and Ladders. Man, I can't believe I got five minutes to spare.
You're living large. Adam Howard, did you get that attachment I sent you?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Doug, we finally got lights on that tree, huh? You're muted.
I said they've always been there. I just never turned them on.
Nice.
Like, how come Scarlett didn't make all conference?
Sore subject there, Mr. Sackett. Sure subject.
I
Generally, they don't make freshmen get that.
think
That's because she takes after her father,
No,
not her mother.
no.
really good, Manny. I've seen her play. She's good.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, Haley got it, so that was nice. So Scarlett's like, I'm not worried. She'll get it next year.
She'll get it. That's motivation.
Exactly.
She'll be crazy next year. Watch.
Did she get any votes for all county?
Who?
Haley?
I don't know. I didn't see it yet.
Okay.
I don't know. So we'll see. Kind of stinks because they were one of the only teams that didn't have like over 10 games. So some of these teams had like up to 15, 16 games. And so, their numbers, people with goals and goals for, were really tough. Knowles didn't give up many goals. They were actually very well ranked in the state defensively. It's just offensively, they didn't play many games. So
gotcha.
kind of that catch-22.
Sure.
So.
Yep.
Council President Jackson, just let me know when you want me to start recording, okay? When we're going to start the meeting, and I'll turn it on right ahead of time.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start the meeting. It looks like everybody's on. Let me just, I want to.
John isn't on yet.
Joe, you're a little low, your volume.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
John
recording.
Archifano's not on yet.
Is that better or no?
A little louder,
Yes.
a little more maybe.
How's that?
Okay.
No.
It seems a little lower than normal.
John Archifano isn't on.
Okay. Have you heard from him, Pat? Do you know when he's joining or?
No, I'm trying to call him right now. So.
Okay. I don't see the mayor either. Oh, there he is.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
He had a power outage. He's getting one now, Joe.
Okay.
Joe, you on your iPad?
I am.
Oh, nice picture.
Yeah, right.
I'm on it too. I got the split screen going, Pat.
Nice.
Oh, I'm proud of you, Jonathan. I'm proud of you.
My kid had to run me through it how to do it.
Oh, come on.
Listen, how do you like your new iPads?
So far, so good.
They're going to be good. They're going to save paper, time. They're going to keep everything consistent. As long as your Wi-Fi works well in your home or works marginally, you should get a decent signal. You shouldn't have any problems.
So far, so good.
Good.
Give John another minute and then we'll get started. Oh, there he is. All right. Liz, let me know when you're started recording.
It is recording, yes.
We're going to start the meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
Republic for which
it stands, one nation,
God,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to take a moment of silence to remember the service and sacrifice of the armed service members who protect our nation and the first responders who protect our neighborhoods. I'd also like to add a special prayer to the family of Luke Homiger, a 27-year-old who died in state trooper training last week. He was an Eagle Scout and a graduate of Morris Knolls High School. So please keep his family in your prayers. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly.
Here.
Councilmember Quinn.
Here.
Councilmember Friedlander.
Here.
Councilmember Kritz.
Here.
Councilmember Selberg.
Here.
Councilmember Brooks.
Here.
Councilmember Noon.
Here.
Vice President Sackett.
Here.
Council President Jackson.
Here. All right. Oh no, I lost my piece of paper with the thing I gotta read. Oh, hold on a minute. What happens when you reorganize? You don't have it handy, do you, Liz?
Is this the meeting, the sunshine notice?
Oh,
I can
wait.
read.
I got it. All right. Please be advised that all electronic remote meetings of the Township Council held on WebEx are recorded. All members of the public will be provided with opportunity to speak during any public hearing or open to the public sections of the meeting. The Township Council will unmute each member of the public and ask if they wish to speak. As per Rockaway Code 2-5.14, any person desiring to address the council shall first seek recognition by the presiding officer, and upon recognition by the chair, the person shall give their name and address for the record. Unless further time is granted by the council, they shall limit their statement to 5 minutes. Statements shall be addressed to the council as a body and not any member thereof. A councilman shall not direct any question to a speaker addressing the council except through the presiding officer. In addition to speaking on the record during a council meeting, members of the public may submit questions and comments to the council by emailing questions@rockawaytownship.org by the end of the open to the public section of the meeting. This meeting was advertised in the Daily Record and the Star Ledger, the official newspapers for the Township of Rockaway. On October 29th, 2020. Notice was posted on the official bulletin boards of Rockaway Township. Our first agenda item is the swearing in of Douglas Brooks as Ward 3 council member. Liz, are you going to be handling that?
Council President?
Yes.
I have the oath if Mr. Brooks would like me to swear him in.
You ready, Mr. Brooks? Unmute yourself.
Very good. I'm just pulling up my Bible.
Doug, is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm good.
Okay.
1 second, guys. Liz, Little Sweet says she cannot get on.
Okay. Pat, do I try to reach, how do I reach out to her? Like as an attendee? Do I somehow send an invitation? I'm not sure what to do.
Jack, have her call me, please.
Okay.
Yeah, other people are in.
Okay.
So it's streaming. Go ahead, Mayor Puzia.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Doug, put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right. I, Douglas Brooks,
I, Douglas Brooks,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Rockaway Township, Ward 3 council member, to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and that I will support the Constitution
and I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Doug.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
gentlemen, ladies. Thank you.
Council President,
Yes, Mayor Puzia.
before we start the agenda, can I speak for a few minutes?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. It's been obvious that Mr. Kelly has been using our council meetings as a forum for his personal and political grudges. In the process, he routinely interrupts proceedings, refuses to abide by the simplest rules followed by all other council members. It's insulting and disrespectful to the council president, other council members, myself, our administrator, our attorneys, and staff. And in spite of being censured by the council, he has demonstrated he has no intention of changing his conduct. On many occasions, Mr. Kelly has been asked to submit any questions he has for the administration in writing before the council meetings. He has been repeatedly told that my administration will make every effort to respond appropriately. He has never taken advantage of our offer and prefers instead to use his time at council meetings in bad faith, attempts to interrogate, harass, and intimidate whoever he targets. This conduct is unacceptable to me as mayor and as a person who respects the function of the council and its role in our form of government. I have no power to control Mr. Kelly's conduct at council meetings. I'm only a guest. However, I can control any input from myself and my administration where Mr. Kelly is concerned. Effective immediately, myself, my administration, and staff will not respond to any questions from Mr. Kelly at council meetings. Mr. Kelly may certainly ask questions, but will not receive an immediate response during the meeting. As always, Mr. Kelly may submit any question to the administration at any time, particularly in advance of any meeting, for an appropriate response. It's unfortunate that Mr. Kelly's conduct has resulted in my decision. I'm done, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the November 24th, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Somebody?
Yes. Second.
Okay, Mr.
Council President, discussion on the minutes real quick.
That was Mr. Quinn and Mr. Friedlander. Clerk.
Council President, to be recognized, Council President.
Mr. Clerk, you get the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
No.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Selberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Council Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
Council President Jackson.
Yes, that's 8 yeses, 1 no. Minutes are approved. Next, number 8, ordinances to adopt O-20-24, an ordinance amending Chapter 9 entitled Animal Control of the General Ordinance of the Township of Rockaway. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Quinn and Mr. Friedlander. Liz, can you go through and go through the members of the public and see if anybody has any commentary?
Yes. Let's see. Call in user number 3. I'm going to unmute you. Call in user 3. Call in user number 4. Call in user 4. Call in user 5. Call in user 5. You're unmuted. Daniel Gasicki.
Comment.
Daniel.
No comment.
Thank you. Ethan Pollock. Ethan Pollock. G enough. G enough. You're unmuted. Jim Waters. You're unmuted.
Yeah, thank you. I'm having problems with my Wi-Fi here, so I may not be able to complete this, but I spoke against this 2 weeks ago. I'd like to speak against it again. It strikes me as a solution in search of a problem. Not sure why the Grinch who stole Christmas wants to come out at this point and make it illegal for kids to give hay to Santa Claus's reindeer or carrots to the Easter Bunny when that comes around, nor why you would come on my property and tell me that I can't feed a goose who lands in the pond on my property. As you know, the state has tried to do this, pass a similar ordinance for probably 20 or 30 years. As they've always run into an extensive pushback from the public. Anybody who's been on Facebook the last couple of days can see that this ordinance is getting a fair amount of pushback from residents with some uncharitable comments. I frankly think that this is not going to be an ordinance that's going to be uniformly enforced. I think it's going to be an ordinance that justifies half a dozen cranky neighbors taking their anger out on their other neighbors who may be feeding squirrels on the ground, who may be feeding birds on the ground. There was a ornithologist on Facebook making the comment that birds don't just eat from bird feeders. Birds eat from where they choose, and there are some species that only eat off the ground. This ordinance would make it illegal to feed anything except a bird at a bird feeder. Elsewhere on the township site, we have appeals not to put out bird feeders because the bears get into the bird feeders. Also, this ordinance doesn't do anything to prohibit or prevent the baiting of deer or bear or anything else in the township. So wherever hunting is permitted in the township, I can go out, dump a pile of corn, feed deer all spring and summer long, wait till hunting season, and then stand over the pile and blow them away. I think that's a lot more unsportsmanlike issue and problem than simply throwing some peanuts on the ground for the squirrels to nosh on. I am curious if any due diligence was done before this ordinance was proposed to regulate what people can do on their own private property. If there's any input from anyone, the animal control officer or the police force. And frankly, I also think that the police aren't going to be overjoyed to be knocking on doors telling people that, sorry, but the doves you're feeding on the ground, you can't do that. Here's a $50 ticket, but the $50 buys you a whole day to feed people, so don't worry until tomorrow. Now, there are a whole lot of issues with this. I would like to ask the council to either table this ordinance for further study or defeat it outright, because I don't think it's in the interests of a significant minority, if not the majority of voters in the township. Alternatively, put it on the ballot, see if the residents really want something like this, or if it's just a couple of people yelling for the kids to get off their lawn that are interested in doing this. And that's the end of my diatribe.
Thanks, Mr. Waters.
Okay, next is Mary Dunn, but she's not showing up with a microphone. So I have to skip Mary Dunn. There's no microphone next to her. And then Peter Lefkowitz, same issue. Neither of them look like they have audio capability. I'm going to skip to Ron Clellan. Ron Clellan, you're unmuted.
No comment.
Thank you. Tammy Cutrona. Also same problem.
No,
there you go.
Am I here?
Yes.
Okay. I had the same similar comments.
Me? I'm sorry. Could you please just state where you live?
Oh, me. I live at 14 West Lakeshore Drive.
Okay, I'm doing some work here, okay?
I again,
make sure you
don't
mute
see.
Mr. Waters. I think he's still unmuted. Go ahead.
I had sent an email to the council members earlier stating some points, and I just don't really see the point in this either. We have a situation, you can have a garden and you can grow food in a garden that the animals can come and eat, but then later I can't throw scraps out to the deer in the yard that from peeling the carrots that they're able to eat out of my garden. I just really don't see the point of this. I don't see that we need to be wasting our police officers' time in issuing tickets for, I can't sit in my backyard off my patio and throw a few carrots to some deer that are in the yard. Who am I harming by doing that in reality? I guess I don't see the purpose of where this is heading. Maybe if we want to stop people from feeding bear, then maybe it should be something addressing bear. But if we're talking about just any animal other than a bird out of a bird feeder, seems a bit all encompassing. And if like I said, if the goal is to prevent feeding bear and bringing bear into the property, having the ordinance worded this way really encourages people to, oh, if they don't like the deer in my yard, then someone else can complain, oh, she's feeding the deer. And the ordinance, although maybe you think it's intended to prevent bear from being fed, now I get a $50 fine because I threw some scrap greens out into the yard for the squirrels instead of dumping them in my garbage, I just think it's a little bit overreach on what I can do in my backyard. I have deer come through the yard all the time. Whether or not I feed them, they're still going to come through here. I have bird feeders. I've seen them eat out of the bird feeders. Am I going to get in trouble for having deer eat out of my bird feeders? When they're there for the birds. Well, the deer eat out of them too. How do I prevent the deer from eating out of my bird feeders, which I'm allowed to have? I just think it's a bit overreach to tell us that you can't throw some carrots out in the yard for the deer. And really, how would you consistently monitor that or enforce that? Because it really seems that if you have neighbors that don't care that you're feeding the yard, no one's going to know. But if you have neighbors that want to have a gripe with you, then they turn you in. They report it. It just doesn't seem something that can be consistently applied or enforced. And I think it just encourages neighbors ratting out other people. And we really don't need more of that. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, Liz, next.
William Degnan.
I have no comment about this ordinance. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm going to go back up to the top of the list. Hold on, because some people called back in. There is a calling user number 5. I'm going to unmute them. I think I only went through 1 through 4 before.
You did 3. You only did 3, 4, and 5 before.
3, 4, and 5, because there's 3, 5, and 6 now. Calling user 5. Any comment? Calling user 6.
Is that me?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Hello, can you hear me?
Can you state your name and your address, please?
Hi, my name is Jody Rotter. I'm 26 Oakland Avenue.
Go ahead, Ms. Rotter. You have the floor.
So, hi. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I, too, do not agree with this ordinance. I think, as everybody else has said, I won't bore you with repeating it. I feel like this is a way for neighbors to build gripes against other people. I do understand the importance of, not feeding the bear and encouraging wildlife to get, to people's yards. However, again, if you're growing a garden, if you are planting vegetables in your own yard, wildlife is going to come there. We live in a residential area where we do have a lot of wildlife. We can't prevent that. I'm not saying we go and encourage them necessarily, but we have the right in our own private yard to do what we feel we want to do. Okay, so as long as we're not hurting anybody, as long as we're not causing harm, I don't feel like the amendment says that somebody else can come and tell me how I can act in my own backyard. And to make matters worse, what if I was sitting in my backyard and somebody wanted to just report me for anything? How is somebody going to check up on you? Can somebody just call in and report you and say that person's feeding a deer? Or do they have to have proof and then they have to come onto your yard and take pictures? So how are we really going to accomplish, and what are you trying to accomplish by passing this ordinance?
Anything else, Ms. Rudder?
Ms. Roder, nope, I'm good. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Is that everybody, Liz?
Let me just double check. Let me scroll through again. Yes, that's everyone, Council President Jackson.
Okay, next we'll have 10 minutes of council discussion. Does anybody want to start?
Joe, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Could I call upon our town attorney, Mr. Perone? I spoke with him earlier today about this ordinance and a legal opinion, and he went over a lot of information with him. If he could maybe chime in and speak about that briefly so the public can hear what he has to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Perone, yeah, he's unmuted. Go ahead, Mr. Perone, you're recognized.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Council President. I've reviewed the case law regarding ordinance of this type, and I can assure the council that if this ordinance passed, it is constitutional and it's accepted by the case law in the state of New Jersey. There's a case called Singer versus Princeton Township, which addresses specifically ordinances that apply to deer. All the reasons why townships may, in the context of passing such an ordinance, consider deer as a hazardous situation. There is also a bear statute in the state of New Jersey. When I say a bear statute, you're not allowed to feed bears in the state of New Jersey, whether it's on public or private property. The case that I referred to, the Singer case, came out of Princeton Township, dealt specifically with private property, and it weighed the constitutional issues that are raised in the context of determining constitutionality of a particular ordinance, and found that such an ordinance was constitutional. This ordinance, by the way, was something, most of the language in the ordinance is pre-existing, dating back to 2005. The only real addition, the only significant addition is that the township may, if they vote to do so, add private property. With respect to bears, for instance, you can't feed bears on private property anyway, so it really doesn't affect bears. But it would affect other animals that may or may not be considered dangerous, like cougars or bobcats, or and even deer in the context of traffic accidents, as is referenced in the Singer case, and in the context of commuting Lyme's disease. What I have to say here is strictly a legal opinion, having nothing to do with the policy of passing the ordinance or not. But I can assure the council that if it did pass the ordinance would be legally valid.
Thank you. Any other commentary?
I would love to go unless there's somebody else that's there that wants to go beforehand.
Yeah, I'd like to talk.
Go ahead, Mr. Friedlander, you're recognized.
Thank you. I did some homework on this before we started setting up this ordinance. I mean, I can go through, if people want to check with the Division of Fish and Wildlife, the feeding of wild deer is undesirable because it increases reproductive potential. They lose their fear of humans. It enhances the spread of disease and parasites, which I had asked our health officer to explain that the first time around. they are bad neighbors. Feeding can change behavioral patterns, and feeding can sicken and kill the deer in their natural habitat. Also, we are not the first ones. I also checked, which a lot of councilmen always check, surrounding towns, and everybody likes to mirror us with Randolph being the size, the population, and just everything about Randolph. I don't know through the picture, but I have an ordinance from Randolph adopting this same ordinance. I have an ordinance from Wayne adopting the same ordinance. Hopatcon, the same ordinance. The Borough of Oakland, the same ordinance. Township of Morris, Denville. You probably could go on and on. They want and added this to their animal ordinance about feeding the wildlife on private property. First, it was township property, and they all amended to feeding on private property. It's something that's been done over the years, and all we're doing is updating to the state statutes, and that's why it's on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Friedlander. Go ahead, Mr. Kelly. I think you wanted to speak.
I did. Mr. Waters had brought up some points, and Mrs. Catrona and Mrs. Rotter had brought up some points with regard to this ordinance. The one thing I didn't hear from Mr. Perone, especially when he was dealing with Singer versus Princeton Township, what was the reasoning of the case being brought against Princeton Township? Mr. Perone?
I haven't been recognized by the council president to respond.
You're recognized, Mr. Perone.
It was a constitutional issue, Mr. Kelly.
So was it a complaint that was given somebody an issue, and then it just came up, or, I mean, you read the case.
You know what?
They challenged the constitutionality of the ordinance, Mr. Kelly, and the constitutionality, it was found to be constitutional.
All right, I was just wondering if there was a complaint that was there, and what was the subject of why Singer filed in the courts, other than constitutional issues. And Mr. Perone, with all the research that you've done in drafting or the amending of this ordinance, since 2005, when we originally had put in an ordinance, have we had any enforcement issues or any complaints or any summonses issued at all?
That's not my part of my job, Mr. Kelly.
I didn't ask you that. I just asked if you knew.
I'm saying no. You said, "Are there any?" And I'm saying I don't. It's not what I do. I wouldn't know.
Are you aware of any?
I wouldn't know.
Okay. Now, when Mr. Freelander had done his review, was there any reason, Manny, behind that? I mean, we have state statute that's already in place with the bear and, of course, some of the deer under certain issues. If we already have a state statute, what's the need for having an ordinance then?
There is no state statute for the deer, Mr. Kelly.
I was just going by what Mr. Freelander had said.
There's no state statute for the deer.
So we're just dealing with the bear.
I don't understand your question.
No. I said we're just adding on with the bear, which has already got a state statute.
If someone were to be brought to bear, it's not a pun, because a bear happened to be eating what they laid out, the state statute would require $1,000 fine.
Okay.
This ordinance would give the township a downgrade to go to $100 fine.
Right. So the reason why you're adding the bear provision was just to downgrade the fine?
There's no bear provision being added, Mr. Kelly. What I'm trying to say is that the ordinance provides some relief for a person who may be found guilty of feeding a bear purposely or knowingly.
And then my last question, Mr. Perone, is what was the reason for Rockaway to amend this? Was there an issue that came up with a property owner?
That's a policy decision, not a legal, not the subject of my legal review and opinion.
Well, like we had that issue over in White Meadow Lake with the Airbnbs. There was an issue that was the driving factor in creating an ordinance for that reason, or amendments. I was just wondering if there was a drive factor. Again, It's presented to our attorneys to do some research to make the amendments and create this ordinance for us to introduce and adopt. You're not aware of any reasoning why we were doing this?
No idea.
Okay. I yield.
Okay, so anybody else have anything they want to discuss or mention before we vote? Okay, clerk, take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
No.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
No.
Councilmember Sailberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Council Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
Council President Jackson,
No, that's 3 noes and 6 yeses. Motion carries. Ordinance is adopted. All right, next is open to the public. So Liz, if you can go through the public again.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, get yourself set. That's good.
Al Cerullo, you're unmuted.
No,
Al
I have nothing.
Cerullo.
Thank you.
Thank you. Call-in user 3.
Okay.
Call-in user 6. Daniel Gasicki.
No comment.
Ernie De La, and your name's cut off, maybe Fuente?
Yes.
I'm not
Ernie.
sure.
Yep.
I don't really have any comments. I missed what you just voted on. I just literally got on, so I don't know what you guys just voted on, but I don't have any comments at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ethan Pollock. Ethan Pollock. G enough. Jim Waters.
Yes, thank you. I recall I neglected to give my address. It's 48 Seneca Avenue the last time I was on.
We know where you live, Jim.
I know you do, Joe. That's why I never make you mad. I just wanted to express without beating it to death, my disappointment with this action on the feeding of wildlife. And my personal feelings, I come back to bite you guys. Just a quick comment to Carl.
Somebody's unmuted that needs to be muted. It might be calling user 3 or no.
Yes. Yeah.
Carl, maybe mute yourself. Carl.
He said cookie too tonight.
So should I keep trying to cut through or just shut the heck up here?
Can you mute Carl or? I don't know if it's him. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Waters.
There we go. Yeah, since the bear hunt was resumed in New Jersey, the ability to bait bear was reinstated. It's no longer prohibited to bait bear. So if you have private property that's large enough to hunt on, you can bait deer and you can bait bear to your heart's content, but you can't go into your front yard and throw down anything for the deer in the front yard. So anyway, I've more than beat this to death, in my opinion. I think it's going to come back to council. And I appreciate all you guys do, I guess, for closing argument.
Thanks, Mr. Waters. You're mute. There you go.
Mary Dunn, I don't think has the microphone. I'm sorry. It's not next to your name, so I'm skipping to Ron Cleland.
No comment.
Thank you. William Degnan.
No comment.
That's everybody, Council President Jackson.
Okay, Mrs. Seeger, can you check the email and see if we've gotten any emails up until now?
Yes, I just checked. There are none. Thank you.
Okay, I will close the open
Wait,
public.
wait, 1 second. There is an additional caller that's on the list.
Go ahead.
El Cerulo. I don't believe I called that name.
You
El
did.
You did.
He's at the top of the list.
Yep.
Yeah, I have nothing. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. My apologies.
No
Mrs.
problem.
Is
Seeger,
Miss Stegman on there?
No, she's not. Miss Seeger, if you could just refresh and check one more time.
Sure. I do not see anything at this time.
Okay. Next is 10 ordinances to introduce. We have O-20-35. Ordinance amending Chapter 2 Administrative Code Article 2-5.2 entitled Regular Meetings of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Rockaway. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I didn't hear who seconded. I'm sorry. Raise your hand.
Well, I will if nobody does.
Mr. Sackett did. So Mr. Quinn and Mr. Sackett.
I got a short hand.
Councilman Jackson, just a quick question on this ordinance, real quick.
Go ahead. You're recognized for a minute.
We have an ordinance to adopt here, and usually adopting an ordinance on this caliber, was there a general reason why that we were doing this?
What are you talking about? The ordinance we're introducing?
Yeah, we have the regular meetings that we have. I believe it's the ordinance of 20-35 that was just motioned and seconded. But we have, this is the last council meeting for the year, and it's my understanding that an ordinance has to be adopted and advertised before the end of the year to go into effect. So if we're introducing this ordinance, it's going to die before the new year, and then we're going to have to reintroduce it again.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Mr. Yatrofano, any advice now that it's been motioned and seconded?
Yes, Council President. Mr. Perone and I have researched the issue also based upon prior litigation. The bottom line is the composition of this council is not going to change over the course of the turn of the year. We don't see any issue.
So you don't see any issue in voting on it and introducing it right now?
That's correct, sir.
Okay.
Would that ordinance then die for 2021 then, Mr. Yatrofano, if it's not adopted?
We said we do not see any issue in introducing the ordinance now and having it on for final passage in 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Yatrofano. Does anybody else have any commentary? Okay, clerk, you can take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly.
No.
Councilmember Quinn.
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander.
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz.
Yes.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Noon.
Yes.
Council Vice President Sackett.
Yes.
Council President Jackson.
Yes, that's 8 yeses, 1 no. Motion carries. Next is our consent agenda. We have R20-196, R20-197, R20-198, R20-199, R20-200, R20-201, R20-202, and R20-203. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Council President, I think a motion to pull 2 items off of that for discussion.
Would anybody like to second Mr. Kelly's motion to remove 2 items?
Well, I got to tell you the items.
Go ahead, tell us the items.
We're going to remove for discussion would be R20-199 and I think R20-200 regarding the senior first floor renovations and the monies that are there. Just a couple of brief questions on them.
Would anybody like to second Mr. Kelly's motion?
Second.
Who was that, Mr. Salberg?
Yes.
So we have a motion to remove R20-199 and R20-200 for discussion made by Mr. Kelly, seconded by Mr. Salberg. Clerk, take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Council Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
Council President Jackson.
Yes, that's 9 yeses. Those items will be removed for discussion. So I'll allow 5 minutes of discussion on each item. Go ahead, Mr. Kelly. You wanted them removed.
If anybody wants to go before me, I don't know if Mr. Salberg has some concerns on some stuff.
Go ahead, Mr. Kelly. You kick us off.
On D, it's just to let everybody know I have a very close passion for D, for the resolution supporting the drive sober and get pulled over. I had a friend of mine that was a close friend that died on November 15th of 1992 of an alcohol-related accident. And for that, my own self, I haven't had drank alcohol since then in memory of my close friend that died. And I think that it's the severity of that. And I know that our township police officer Hasmahalis has done a great job with Matt and been recognized multiple times for his dedication for locking up drunk drivers and those that are under the influence of drugs and alcohol. So I hope everybody, I can't see why nobody wouldn't, but I just wanted to make a mention of that, of the importance of this, and do not drink and drive, or if you're under the influence of prescription drugs or illegal drugs, do not drive, not even do them. So that was something important that I wanted to say. I don't know if anybody else wants to add on to that before I go to R20-200.
Yeah, if I may, just Council President, again, echo Councilman Kelly. I would actually like it to be read into the benefit of the public and, yeah, the importance of this for all residents of Rockaway.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Kelly. You can, is there anybody else have comments on that? Okay, Mr. Kelly, you can speak on the next item.
On R20-200, and I'm just kind of following some comments that were made at prior council meetings from Mayor Puzio. What we have here with R20-200, we have a lowest bidder for $75,542 for improvements on the first floor renovations for the senior center. Now, when we were talking, and there's been a lot of discussion back and forth, and we're still waiting on plans and some final assessments on this community center. And I believe that I had heard at a prior council meeting or two that we were going to potentially use that center also for senior services or gathering. Now, Mr. Freelander had gone into some talk about the ordinance for feeding animals and dealing with Randolph. And over on Calais Road, Randolph's got a great senior center that's over there. So my question is on a couple things here with this authorized awarding of contract. One, what are the actual improvements that we're doing for this senior center?
Mr. Kelly, who's your question directed to?
Whoever would answer it, to be quite honest with you, that would have knowledge. I don't know who knows.
I'm pretty sure the mayor made a statement at the beginning of this meeting that they're not answering it. The administration is not going to answer any of your questions in the meeting.
Well, you know what? Nothing bars you from actually asking. And if, as you witnessed before, Mr. Jackson,
I just don't want you to waste your
Mr.
time.
Jackson, I'm talking. Please don't interrupt me.
No, I'll interrupt you if you want.
When we were having some other dialogue, you witnessed others answering questions that I had for other ordinances and other concerns that are there. So, one, what is actually being done? Because it wasn't provided any information that we received. And then two, we have the lowest bid for $75,000. There were 24 other bids that were received and opened by the township. And then the second and third lowest bid were very close with each other. One was 110, one was 114. So my other concerns are, we have this low bid of 75,000, and we have these two other lower bids that are 30,000, 35,000 plus, greater than that. And then we have another 21 bids that we don't even know where they were of an amounts that that they came in. So my concern is, if we're going to spend this money on this renovations for the senior center, and then there's discussions about actually doing a senior center over in that building that you're proposing or talking about in Peterson Field, is there a need to put this money in there now and maybe apply that money towards the new area that the seniors would be utilizing in the community center or senior service center? And if not, what is it actually, what are we doing there? Are we remodeling? Are we repainting floors? We don't have that breakdown. And I just thought maybe the public, it's important to know, as well as I'd be interested to know, what we're spending the 75,000 on. Can Mr. Perrone answer that, or Mr.?
They're not recognized.
You're taking the floor from me now?
No, they're not. I said they are not recognized.
Oh, okay.
They haven't asked to be recognized, so I would say no.
Well, why don't you reach out to them and see if they're willing to answer those questions like they've answered before?
If they want to answer, if they want to ask to be recognized, they can ask. They're adults, and I will make a decision if I'm going to recognize them.
Council President.
Dr. Fano, can you answer that question, or Mr. Perrone?
Council President, can I be recognized?
Absolutely.
I will only observe that if Mr. Kelly is as familiar with the bids in detail as he's just told us all that he is, the bids specify the work that should be done, so he shouldn't have any questions.
Thank you. Any other council members?
I don't have the bids, Mr. Dr. Fano. I only have the resolution that was there. So I'm just asking again, if you could just give me that information, since I haven't received it. Or Mr. Jackson, if you have the bids in front of you, could you tell me what it is?
I'm not here to answer your questions, Mr. Kelly.
Okay, Council President.
All right. Anybody else have commentary? So before we go, move on to vote, let's first vote on the bulk items, can I have a motion to vote on R20-196, R20-197, R20-198, R20-201, R20-202, and R20-203? Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I think Mr. Kelly was the first one.
Okay.
Was Kelly the second for that?
Did you second, Mr. Kelly? I thought it was you.
I seconded. You had me muted, so I don't know how you heard me, but
I heard you. Go ahead, Liz.
Thank you. Councilmember Kelly.
Yes, for those items from not including D and E.
Councilmember Quinn.
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander.
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz.
Yes.
Councilmember Selberg.
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Noon.
Yes.
Council Vice President Sackett.
Yes.
Council President Jackson.
Yes, that's 9 yeses. Items carry. Next, I have a motion to approve R20-199 and R20-200.
Council President, can you do them separately?
You could make a motion to have them broken out separately, I think, right? Would that require a motion, Mr. Yachvano?
You can do it yourself as well.
They can be dealt with separately, Council President.
Okay, sure. So let's, can I have a motion to vote on R20-199? Mr. Kelly?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, sure.
Yep.
I'll second it.
Like the second? Okay, so Mr. Kelly, Mr. Friedlander, and per Mr. Salberg, I'm going to read the resolution in totality. So this is R20-199, supporting the drive sober or get pulled over 2020 year-end holiday crackdown. Whereas approximately 1/3 of all fatal traffic crashes in the United States involve impaired drivers, and whereas impaired driving crashes killed 10,551 people in the United States in 2018, and whereas impaired driving crashes cost the United States almost $44 billion a year, And whereas during the past 5 years, New Jersey's roadways experienced 36,049 crashes and 648 fatalities involving impaired drivers. And whereas enforcement crackdown is planned to combat impaired driving. And whereas the year-end holiday season is traditionally a time for social gatherings, which include alcohol. And whereas the state of New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety has asked law enforcement agencies throughout the state to participate in the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over 2020 year-end holiday crackdown. And whereas the project will involve increased impaired driving enforcement from December 4th, 2020 through January 1st, 2021. And whereas an increase in impaired driving enforcement and a reduction in impaired driving will save lives on our roadways, therefore be it resolved that the Township Council of the Township of Rockaway declares its support for the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over 2020 year-end holiday crackdown from December 4th, 2020 through January 1st, 2021, and pledges to increase awareness of the dangers of drinking and driving. Clerk, can you take the roll call?
Councilmember Kelly.
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn.
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander.
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz.
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg.
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Noon.
Yes.
Council Vice President Sackett.
Yes.
Council President Jackson.
Yes, that's 9 yeses. Resolution carries. Next, can I have a motion for R20-200?
Council President,
Yes,
I forgot to ask a question on this before. Can I be recognized real quick?
you can, real quick.
Just for this 20-200, I'm pretty sure it's from we received the grant for. Can we confirm that if possible? Could you, if it's okay with you, to ask Mrs. Seeger?
We can ask Ms. Seeger.
Here, isn't that from for resolution 20-200? We received grant money to do this project.
Yes, we did. It's from the CDBG grant. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So could I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Quinn and Mr. Friedlander.
Councilmember Kelly.
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn.
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander.
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz.
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg.
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Noon.
Yes.
Council Vice President Sackett.
Yes.
Council President Jackson.
Yes, that's 9 yeses. Resolution carries. Next is mayor's appointments. We have one to the Citizens Recreation Committee, Sean Connolly. Any commentary? Anybody wish to say anything?
Council President?
Yes.
Yes, I know Sean. He'll be an excellent asset to the Recreation Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. I very familiar with Sean. He coached in the Rockets for a long time. Still does, I believe. Great with children, really knows the sports programs. Him and I actually teach Rutgers safety classes together. I think he'll be a great fit for the committee. Next is council appointment. Mayor's appointment with council consent. Our EMS fire department appointment with council consent, and it's EMS and it's Michael Gencarelli. Does anybody wish to speak up if they have an objection? Okay. I don't believe, Mr. Yachvana, we don't have to take roll call if there's no objections.
Just note, please, Council President, that's a passage by acclamation.
Okay. You got that, Liz?
Yes.
Okay. What I'm gonna do next, I think just it's so choppy the way we do it right now. So what I'm gonna do is combine old business, new business, and council reports, and everybody will get 10 minutes to go through all that. That's how we're gonna do that tonight. So I'll start with Mr. Salberg.
All right, thank you. No old business or new business to introduce. But again, we're wrapping up, I think, an epically unique year for everybody. I just want to thank everyone's support, of the council and the mayor and the commission. Please be safe as we move forward. And again, happy holidays. Hanukkah's coming. Shame about the Christmas lighting, but again, we'll all have it in our hearts. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Council President. No old business, new business. We are good. In terms of reports, I would just say that Councilman Sackett and myself had a Parks and Recreation Committee meeting the other day and went very well with the new members. So we had a good time of introducing them some of the projects that we were thinking about for the town, and that went once again really well. Also, a little disappointed we didn't get to go down for the tree lighting and the menorah lighting, but we are looking forward to everyone celebrating Hanukkah and Christmas in the upcoming weeks. That's it.
Mr. Friedlander.
Yes, again, I'm going to piggyback on what the other councilman said. Really no old business and new business. It's been a tough 3 quarters of the year, but we're getting through it. I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday, the Hanukkah and Christmas. Stay safe, enjoy the best you can, and before you know it, the weather will be springtime and we'll be better off. So take care.
Thank you. Mr. Kritz.
Yeah, I wanted to, say it's been a interesting first year as a council member. I don't want to speak for Mary and Adam and Doug and us who are newer to the council, but very interesting. Look forward to the next 3 years and some improvements and things that are going on there. Happy holidays to everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Starts Thursday night. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Just be smart with the family gatherings. COVID doesn't care that it's a holiday. So, just be smart this year so you can celebrate now. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kelly. You're muted.
As far as old business, back before some of the new council members that were here, we went into contract with the police department. It was unfortunate we had that meeting voided, but then we ratified everything going into the following year, as well as Council 6. But now there's been some discussion that I've heard and some scuttle about there's a some type of legal action that's taking place through an arbitrator dealing with benefits and Chapter 7(8) obligations of those who retire, whether it's Council 6 or police. And I went through the contract. I didn't remember seeing any of that. Is there any truth that we're having an arbitration hearing of some sort going on with our contracts that we've approved? Mr. Jackson?
I'm not here to answer your questions, Mr. Kelly.
Could you ask Mrs. Seeger?
I think you just did.
Oh, before you told me that they would have to do something. Mrs. Seeger, is there any truth to the arbitration process going on, or is just that hearsay? Mrs. Seeger? I guess it is true then, if there's no denial of that. In addition, with old business, we had the last meeting that took place on the 24th of November. And I was wondering, when we do have the clerk assemble minutes, does the clerk take that task on by herself? Or is there input and involvement with our administration and town attorneys in regards to what subject and how it's to be written in the minutes for the council to approve? Is there a process that our clerk follows? She's our secretary, Council President. Mrs. Peterson, can you answer that, please? Mrs. Peterson, you are a clerk to the council.
I don't know if I have the ability to answer that.
In what way? Like you don't know how or who helps you when preparing minutes?
Mr. Kelly, weren't you president? Don't you know these answers? Weren't you council president?
I do. You know, and when dealing with the RMC that we have, she did the minutes herself. And I'm just asking of Mrs. Peterson if she does the minutes by herself.
What's your concern, Mr. Kelly?
I'm not. I'm just wondering if there's involvement with our administration.
But why do you need to know that? What's the point of knowing that?
Because I'm asking to see who's involved with creating the minutes.
But why?
Well, it appears that every time that we have some minutes and there's a controversial issue, the minutes don't reflect what actually took place, and then there's added text and motions and whatnot for things that didn't take place. Again, the video shows. So I'm just asking what the process is. The other issue is, Council President, under old business, is we had an employee that we consented that the mayor had, and you as well as the town attorney has suggested to make a motion to go into closed session in reference to speak about that employment or that individual. But what I don't understand is you put myself in a situation as well as the council, because if we don't have a resolution that's on the agenda, we can't just make a motion from the floor, a main motion, to create a resolution to go in a closed session. And we've had litigation in the past under NJSA 10:4-13 under the Open Public Meeting Act for violation of that particular statute, which led to avoidability of meetings. So I mean, it's a little concerning to me that we keep getting some of this legal counsel, which seems to be contradictory to the actual statutes. Because the statute reads, no public body shall exclude the public from any meeting to discuss any matter described in subsection 7B until the public shall first adopt a resolution at a meeting to which the public shall be admitted. But we never even had a resolution that was drafted on the agenda for us to make a motion to go into closed session. And the suggested advice from a council, as well as you, Council President, was to just make a motion from the floor, and we can't do that. So is there a way maybe that we can have some of our staff or personnel or even some of our elected officials maybe take a course individually to maybe better understand OPMA, or even our clerk? I mean, our clerk at the time didn't even make a mention that we couldn't do that. And it's concerning because it's going to create potential litigation in the future if we continue to go down this road.
So are you looking for an answer to that, Mr. Kelly?
If you would like to answer that, it'd be
Yeah.
great.
So unlike you, I don't propose myself to be an expert in statutes and OPMA and OPRA, and taking a refresher course doesn't really meet my needs around that. I rely on our attorney. So I'll ask Mr. Iacofano to provide any of his insight like he did prior about the matter. So Mr. Iacofano, you're recognized.
Council President, respectfully, Mr. Kelly is a plaintiff in a pending lawsuit on this very issue, so there should be no comment or discussion on it, particularly initiated by him.
Thank you.
Okay, and then with regard to the new business in our wireless iPads, and then I'll lead into my reports and wrap this up. We just recently got an email from Mrs. Siegert about our iPads, and I wasn't aware that we were buying iPads, and I heard the mayor had stated in the beginning that it's going to eliminate the use of paper. Well, when we were relying on our own desktop or laptop computers, how are the iPads any different as far as governing any use of paper? Is this something that, I mean, Mr. Jeniak, when he was the council president, really strived to go paperless, and there was a lot of resistance on that, and even the delivering of council mail. And now that we got these iPads and, the administration is bringing it to us, how is this going to stop any paper usage by some council members or other appointed officials. Does this bar us from asking for any paper copy of anything now that we have these new iPads? Anybody? Mr. Mayor, maybe you might respond to that since you mentioned it in the beginning of the meeting? No? Okay, well, off to reports. I just want to go down a couple of things here. We have in Holy Trinity Lutheran Church, they have a drive-through Santa that's taking place on December 13th, which is a Sunday, as well as December 20th, which is also a Sunday. It takes place between 5 and 9 p.m. There's also a Santa run that's taking place, Company 1, which is Hibernia, on December 19th at 12 p.m. The fire truck with Santa will be driving through the community of Hibernia and Telemark. Mount Hope, Company 2, on December 19th at 9 a.m. will be doing the same thing, going through that area and territory of Rockaway. Company 4, on the same day at 12:19, Birchwood is going to do their Santa run at 11 a.m. Company 3, Marcella, on the 20th of December at 11:30 is going to do the Santa run. And then Company 5, White Meadow Lake, on the same day, 12:20, at 12 p.m. are going to do the Santa run. As I mentioned before, we were talking about the clothing drive through Holy Trinity Lutheran Church, and there's also the pantry down there. I know that the temple also assists with Rabbi Poppy. There's coats, hats, sleeping bags, socks, any kind of food that you can. The homeless do battle the cold. Some will not take warming shelters. It's something that's very important to assist those in need, especially during COVID. I also want to make special mention of Jarrett Lardier for receiving Eagle Scout. And we have Ashton McKeon, who is just wrapping up the same for his Eagle Scout moving forward. I also want to congratulate Mr. Quinn. His son-in-law got promoted to sergeant, so congratulations with that. And one last thing would be we have the event that's taking place, I believe, on the 17th with the menorah lighting. Maybe Mr. Sackett can help me out with that. Would it be possible? 14th. I'm sorry?
14th.
I'm sorry, 14th. With that being said, are we allowed to have children involved in coming there? Is it really limited as far as the social distancing and COVID that's going on? How is it going to be handled, Mr. Sackett, if you're aware of any? I tried to find some information about that with the Christmas tree lighting, and I was unsuccessful. Maybe you could help me out.
I know the rabbi is going to be running it. There's going to be no interaction as far as different people lighting it in the past, different, myself or someone else saying the prayers. So there'll be none of that.
Any food? Is there going to be any food that's there?
No, there'll be no food. There'll be nothing. So all COVID-19 rules will be followed.
And is there a limit as far as the people that can congregate in the area where the event's going to take place?
I wouldn't know. I'd have to ask. To be honest with you, I wouldn't know. I'd have to ask Recreation Department.
And would there be a problem if we did something simultaneously? Because there's been a little bit of disappointment with some people that there's not a rescheduling of the Christmas tree lighting. Would it be an issue or create an issue, Mr. Sackett, if there was something of the same done at the same time, like maybe a Christmas tree lighting at the same time of lighting the menorah that's over there?
I would keep it separate. They're separate holidays.
Okay. And there's no possibility of us having a rescheduling of that just for one special day.
I'm for
the Christmas tree lighting.
I'm for it. I'm for the reschedule.
Maybe administration could answer that, Mr. Jackson?
I'm not in administration, Mr. Kelly.
You can ask administration for me.
It's your time, Mr. Kelly. Let me know when you're done.
And I believe. Oh, and then it's the last thing too is just everybody have a wonderful holiday to come. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas to all. For all those that are battling with what's going on with COVID, the children with schools, it's a very crazy time. Hopefully, we can get through this moving forward into 2021, and I look forward to 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Mr. Quinn?
Yes, thank you. Under old business, new business, I thank the mayor for getting back to us on dealing with the Atlantic Health is able to do the COVID test if over here at the mall, if you don't have symptoms, you can go there for that test. If you do have symptoms, you must go to the Mountain Lakes facility on Route 46. And then I talked to the business administrator at the county, John Bonani, and they have fixed the pull down on the COVID testing center so that you can request now a mailing for your COVID test. You can get it either the nasal swab or the mucus into the tube and send it back. It's a 24-hour turnaround, and they're geared up for it. So the residents now can get back into the swing of it, and we can start getting tests. So thank you, Mayor, and Mr. Business Administrator Bonani. The Recreation Committee had its last meeting, and we are still working on getting members allocated and understanding what roles we're going to play. And starting in 2021, we should be almost at full complement moving forward. So thank you. And everybody, please stay safe. Enjoy the holiday the best you can. And enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. Next is Miss Noon.
No old business or new business. And as far as reports, I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday. I was sad that the weather was bad for the tree lighting and that was canceled, but looking forward to the menorah lighting. And just everyone, please stay safe and have a happy and healthy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Sackett.
Thank you, Council President. As far as old business, just Councilman Quinn had just spoke about the various COVID testing stuff we had spoke about. If when the mayor gives his report, if you can just speak about it, I think he has some stuff to add. That'd be great. Also, just about the iPads. I know those were purchased through grant money, so it wasn't costing the town anything. And also, when former Council President Jeremy did want to try to go that, he wanted us all to use our own personal devices, our own personal laptops, personal desktop computers. These iPads are property of the township. They're not ours. So I'm glad we have them. The Citizen Recreation Committee meeting held on December 1st, like Councilman Quinn had said. Very excited, a lot of great new members, and looking forward to good things at that committee. And we did have, like Councilman Brooks said, our Park and Recreation meeting December 4th, and try and have some more tie-in with the Citizen Recreation Committee. Have Tom McGinley, who's the chairman of the Citizen Rec Committee meeting, joined us, and try to have a little bit more tie-in. It's that way both of us all are kind of working hand in hand on various stuff to help the citizens in our town. The White Meadow Lake POA is having their holiday party with social distancing and all COVID-19 protocol this Saturday, 7 to 10 o'clock. Looking forward to that. The Hanukkah lighting is Monday the 14th, 8 p.m. On Saturday, December 19th, from 8 to 1 p.m. at the mall, we will be having our rescheduled farmers market. And I just want to wish everyone also as well. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, and any other holiday may celebrate. It's been a tough year. This COVID-19, it doesn't discriminate. I know all of us have known someone that had it, have lost someone close to us. It's not a joke. Take it seriously. Wear your masks. I know people right now that are battling it. So be safe out there so we can look forward to bigger and better things in 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sackett.
The farmers.
And real quick, Mr. Sackett, do you know where the farmers market's going to be advertised in terms of the information?
It's supposed to be outside. I think it's outside the JCPenney parking lot. Maybe the mayor can expand on it a little bit.
All right. When he gets his report, maybe he can expand on it.
What time was it at, John?
I had it 8 to 1 o'clock, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay. In terms of my report, I'll be brief. As everybody's mentioned, it's been a tough year, and I think, virtual meetings started as a challenge. We had a lot of difficulties, a lot of issues. Our clerk that's out on maternity leave, Ms. Clipperton, and Ms. Peterson have done a great job managing us through these meetings with the assistance of Mrs. Seeger. So I'm very appreciative of all the work they've done to really make these virtual meetings as smooth as possible. And real quick, maybe the mayor can bring it up on his report again too. Pretty cool this morning. There was a bald eagle in one of the trees outside the municipal building. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think there might be a picture on Facebook or something. But heading into year end, just everybody, as Mr. Sackett said, stay healthy, wear a mask, wash your hands all the time, keep your social distance. Let's get through this together, and then let's come back in the spring, in the summer, and let's get back to town hall and have meetings as soon as we can. Hopefully, if we can get through this next wave, everybody will be good to go with that. So with that said, I'll turn it over to the mayor to see if he has anything he likes to report on.
Thank you, Council President. I'm just going to take a moment to update the council on COVID testing. I'd like to take a moment or two to advise the council and members of the public about important, convenient local opportunities for COVID-19 testing, and also wish to share a very brief update with regard to developments in Morris County's forthcoming COVID vaccination efforts. The Rockaway Township Division of Health works closely with the county to make sure that any federal or state assets that are deployed at the county level are available for the benefit of Rockaway Township residents. To that end, our health officer confers with the Morris County officials routinely for the purpose of planning and implementing opportunities for COVID testing and future vaccinations. Some of you may remember that Morris County had a drive-through COVID-19 testing operation at the County College of Morris back in the spring, which was discontinued on or around June 24th. I'm pleased to report that the county reinitiated a free COVID testing operation this past weekend, which presently includes an at-home saliva and nasal testing for COVID-19 and will soon include a walk-up testing site. Morris County residents and non-residents who work in Morris County are eligible for free at-home testing. Rockaway Township residents will be able to take the at-home test up to twice per month, and according to county officials, should be notified of the test results within 24 to 48 hours. Saliva tests and nasal tests will be available, with some limited restrictions for each test. Through a straightforward online registration process, Rockaway Township residents will be able to have a test kit mailed to their home. Residents will be asked to provide health insurance information, but they will not be billed. If a resident is not insured, the test will be completed at no cost to them. Residents will be provided a prepaid shipping label, and those who perform a saliva test will have a corresponding telemedicine appointment with a lab test supervisor. Residents who would like to obtain an at-home test or wish to learn more should visit morriscountycovid19.org. The county also plans to operationalize a walk-up testing site at the County College of Morris. It's anticipated that residents will be able to visit the County College Student Center between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays to have a COVID-19 saliva test performed on site. The walk-up testing site is expected to go live later this week. And residents may check the Morris County Office of Health Management's COVID website for any updates. I'm also pleased to announce that I have been working with our health officer in coordinating a COVID-19 testing day here in Rockaway Township. The event is tentatively planned for 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, December 19th, and is expected to take place at our Township Municipal Building. We are working with the staff from Atlantic Health Systems, specifically from Atlantic Health Pavilion facility on Mount Hope Ave here in the township, to provide a large-scale, convenient opportunity for Rockaway Township residents to be tested. Please look to the township website for more information as our Division of Health completes plans for this event over the next few days. Finally, I wish to advise the governing body and residents that plans for a winter and spring COVID mass vaccination are not just happening at the federal and state levels. Our health officer and business administrator have been of assistance to Morris County in assessing centrally located appropriate facilities where county-wide vaccination efforts may be considered. Though Morris County officials have not yet finalized the location for what promises to be an intensive, sustained effort, a Rockaway Township site is receiving serious consideration based on central location and spatial considerations. We do know that plans are underway for healthcare workers, first responders, and our most vulnerable community members to access the vaccine during early vaccination efforts. The first phase of which is to begin just several weeks from now. I expect to know more about these developments in the coming days or weeks and hope to share more information soon. I wouldn't be remiss if I did not take this opportunity to remind our residents that COVID-19 rates are at their highest levels locally, regionally, and nationally. So please be safe and remember the basic but important actions that will help reduce the risk of the disease. Please look at our website, and that'll give you all these details that I just spoke on. We update our website. We have a COVID section for if you don't already know about it. We update as information comes in. We try to stay on top of the governor's orders, and they do change occasionally. So please visit that site. And as always, you can feel free to reach out to the administration. We will get any resident, we will get the council the answers that they need. Send us an email. We'll do our best to get it in a timely fashion. There was a question that was asked in reference to the iPads. If a council member still chooses to get a printed copy of the agenda of the documents, we're going to honor that. The iPads are definitely a vehicle that the town has issued to help us save paper, to help us save costs in that area. But I'm always flexible. If someone wants hard copies, printed copies, it's not a problem. Just let us know and we will take care of it. I want to apologize about the Christmas event. It was raining out. It was very difficult. I was thinking about setting up tents, but that wouldn't have been conducive to our COVID-19 guidelines. We would have had to squeeze everybody under tents with the rain. It just wasn't a pleasant environment. I want to make sure that we're compliant and we follow those social distancing rules. It's difficult to reschedule. I will try to see what I can do to reschedule that. I don't know if it's going to be possible because I had to have a priest available. I was going to have the choir come. So I have to look into that. Our Hanukkah event is on December 14th. Jonathan, I think it's 7 o'clock.
Just weird.
Right?
It does say on the township page 7, but on the Facebook event page, it does say 8.
Yeah, I will try to correct that. I don't know why it did that. It did the same thing with our Christmas event.
Yep.
There was a little bit of mixed signals with that.
So 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock. If it changes, if it's not 7 o'clock, the rabbi called me today. I haven't had a chance to get back to him, but I will confirm that. Okay. One thing I want to mention, the parents may already know this. The school put out a notice, but I've been in contact with the school superintendent, Peter Tremanian. The schools are going to be going virtual, the virtual model starting Monday, December 14th to January 15th. If you need any information on that, please reach out to him. He'll have all the details. Okay, I want to also throw something out. I've been waiting to do this until everyone was elected and sworn in. First, I want to congratulate Mr. Brooks on his election, being part of the council. Officially now, your results have been certified. If anyone has not received, it's customary when you become a councilman initially to get training from our town attorney. And what that training does, I took it myself a few years back. What that training does is it goes over our form of government. It tells us the responsibilities of what a council person can do and the separation of powers between the council and the mayor. So if you haven't done that, as a councilman, I urge you to reach out to Ms. Seeger, Mr. Yachafano, or Mr. Perrone. Either one of them will facilitate, sit down with you. There's a binder that you get with quite a lot of valuable information that you can peruse, and the training takes maybe an hour or two. So it's good training. I mean, it helps lay the foundation and the framework for those types of for what we do. I want to wish the entire council and their families a happy and healthy holiday season. The best to you and your families, and happy Hanukkah to those that celebrate Hanukkah, and happy holidays to if you celebrate any other events during this time of year. So I want everyone to be safe, be healthy, and I'm looking forward to a productive year in 2021. And it's been an honor to serve as your mayor this year and to work with all of you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move on to next report, one thing I forgot, I'd like to remind everybody out there listening that Santa's mailbox is outside the municipal building at the main entrance, and his elves are eagerly awaiting any letters asking from children asking for presents or anything like that. So please let your neighbors know, let everybody know that Santa's mailbox is at Town Hall where it is every year. So with that said, I'll go on to Mr. Yachafano. Do you have anything to report?
Thank you, Council President. Very quickly, as members of the Council administration know, with authorization, I've been meeting with Jill Cadman, Ellen Benson, and Heather Falcone concerning what I will caption as their anti-racism committee efforts. We've had at least two lengthy and very productive meetings. They are now seeking to define their direction, issues concerning their affiliation with the township, and to develop a structure, goal statement, and I'm available to them, as they know. As we go forward, we'll probably be meeting once again, and of course, I'll keep everyone advised of that. Congratulations to Mr. Brooks on his election. Also, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, happy holidays to everyone. I understand that Council President Jackson, once the COVID epidemic has passed, has volunteered to host a holiday party next year.
That's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mrs. Seeger, did you have anything to report?
Yes, I would like to report that we have been accepted for the CARES grant for the amount of $294,345. And we submitted our it's a reimbursement grant, and we submitted that today with the thanks of Karen Mabey, Dave Dyer, Lisa Palmieri, and Brian Coward, and every single department actually helped in gathering information, but the hardest work was done by Karen and Dave and Lisa. So I want to thank them for all their hard work, because that's good for the township. And I wanted to say that all the employees this year, all the department heads, the division heads, the council included, and the residents have been very patient and going along with all the changes that COVID has brought. And it's a learning experience for all of us. And I want to thank everybody for their patience and helping us get through all this. And I'm looking forward to 2021, that it will get better. And I wanted to say the menorah is at 7 o'clock. I will check why that's different in both places. I look forward to continue working with everybody here. Congratulations, Mr. Brooks. And I want to wish everybody a happy holiday and Merry Christmas. And whatever you need, let me know. Thank you.
Yeah, you know what? Double check the time zone on the Facebook page. So maybe I'd have it at Central. I see Ms. Ferrante, Ms. Palmieri, Mr. Dyer on. Do any of you have anything you'd like to report?
Thank you, Council President. This is Dave. Nothing to report. Just have a great holiday, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave, can Dave say something about the farmer's market? Dave,
Sure.
Tell us the information.
Thanks. Yes, the information I have is the farmer's market is 8:30 to 2 o'clock. So if anything changes, it's from my understanding a pretty large project to get these vendors on the right page with the farmer's market. So I have on the original permit 8:30 to 2, but if that changes at all, I'll let everybody know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What day? What day, Mr. Dyer?
That is Saturday, the 19th. Saturday, the 19th.
Thanks.
Thanks.
You know where it's located? Is it outside J.C. Penney's, or do you know where the location?
The location is going to be outside of Macy's. If anything changes, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to these farmers markets, which I'm learning. So if anything changes, I'll keep everyone abreast.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ms. Palmieri, I saw you unmuted. I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to say.
Oh, no, just that I wanted to wish everyone also a happy holiday. And Pat had already reported on the grant we're about to receive for $294,000. Great work by all. And we're working very hard to put the budget together, and we'll be looking forward to working on that in January 21. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
What about Ms. Ferrante?
She didn't unmute. She does not appear to have anything to say. Anybody want to second the motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Oh, Ms. Ferrante, did you have something you wanted to say?
Just want to say happy holidays and everybody be safe and see you in the new year.
Excellent. All in favor of adjourning, raise your hand.
Yo.
All right, meeting's adjourned. Have a great new year, everybody. Great holiday season. Stay safe.
You too, guys.
Take care all.
Thank you.